Hey guys, hi, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time, you're definitely welcome, and if not, thanks for stopping by. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing my career journey with you guys. Somebody requested for this, and I've also gotten a couple of DMs asking me some questions pertaining to my career journey. Thank you so much to Peace for asking this question, and I'll be taking my time in today's video to respond to you guys and tell you guys how I became a product marketing manager. Also, my marketing career in the industry so far. First and foremost, if you guys don't know, I have a whole different life outside of YouTube. I am a wife, I am an MBA student, I am also a career woman as well. So I was just thinking of something more sustainable. I just figured sharing more about my career journey would be school life would also be beneficial to other people as opposed to doing makeup tutorials all the time. Thanks to my husband anyway. I want to remind you guys, if you guys are not already subscribed, do well to subscribe to the channel, join the family, join this wonderful family, and while you're at that, make sure to turn on the post notification so you'll be notified every time I have a new video up on my channel. And if you have any questions and you feel like I didn't cover them in this video, leave them in the comment section and I'll happily respond to them. Yeah, make sure to participate, leave some comments in the description box in the comment section and ask your questions. So starting off, I studied mass communication at Redeemers University. Before that, I went to Reagan Memorial Baptist Girls Secondary School, which was an only girls secondary school. While I was there were several things that I thought about becoming. First, I thought I was going to become a supermodel. Well, then I added weight, and of course I had like birthmark that a lot of people in the industry didn't really fancy. For you to be a model back then, you had to be almost flawless. So my birthmark was an issue for them, and I also just opted out because many of the agents were not professional. So many of them were, you guys know how it is with being a woman in the industry. It was just very sad, and then the pay wasn't also very good as well. So I then said, okay, I might become an engineer, but then I wasn't so great at mathematics. I hated calculus, even though I managed to pass them. One thing about me is that when I don't understand something, I don't give up and use that as an excuse to fail the exam. I always like work extra hard to make sure I pass excellently. So at the back of my mind, I knew that passing the mathematics and all the calculus examinations didn't necessarily mean that I was genuinely interested in calculation or engineering or what's not, but I was just very passionate about fixing things. Well, scrap that, and then finally I just noticed I was very debatable. I could argue and argue and argue. My mom calls me lawyer. Everybody in school calls me lawyer because then I was like the assistant head girl, so I was like the voice of many people back in my school. I was very, maybe not controversial, but I always asked questions, so hence the nickname Lawyer Marian. So, and then there was a kiosk I used to go and buy food from. The woman too also, I was like, oh, since everybody's calling me lawyer this, lawyer that, I might as well just become a lawyer. So I applied to University of Lagos to study law, but unfortunately, as God would have it, I didn't get accepted into Unilag. So, and I was crying and this and that, but fortunately I got admitted into Redeemers University, which was a private university, to study mass communication. I was like, okay, so at least one worked out. I went to Redeemers University and I studied mass communication. While I was there, the first year I wasn't really interested because I was like, I really wanted law, and then I ended up doing mass communication. And after my first year, my grades were not that great, even though I did well, but not exceptionally well. I realized that this is my life now. I have to figure out, I have to love it. If not, I'm going to be screwed throughout the course of my undergraduate level, and I didn't want that. So I started picking up the interest. I met a couple of my seniors and just picked their brains on how the courses they took were, and you know, what were the prospects and everything. And then when they started telling me about their internship opportunities, many of them worked at DDB, Leo Burnett, those kind of places. Inside Communication, which is like a really like a top ad agency back home in Nigeria. I was like, oh, this sounds really interesting. I might actually be interested in this. So that was where I started like falling in love with mass communication. I also remember that, okay, I really liked it mostly because of the advertising and PR aspects, not necessarily because of the writing aspect, even though again I was really good at that as well. But unfortunately I got grouped into print, which is journalism, and I guess it was mostly because I was like always writing. I wrote for like major newspapers in Nigeria, like Nation, Punch, Guardian, and I also wrote for the school. So I guess when they were like thinking about it and trying to fix students into like different groups and what's not, they figured, oh, since she loves writing, even though I hated writing, you know, she might be, you know, very good for print or journalism. The only reason I really wrote back then was just because, again, I just saw myself as the voice of the people. So I like to always, not controversial, but I always asked questions, and when my questions were not answered, I took it out, and then, you know, at the end of the day, they eventually had to address it. So as you guys can imagine, it wasn't a lot of fun working with authorities back at my school, but I tried to be very diplomatic, and I just wrote facts and not, you know, I thought or somebody said, those kind of stuff. Long story short, I didn't really enjoy it because, again, I liked the expose aspect of journalism, but when I started thinking about my prospects in the journalism field and just realizing that Nigeria is not really a good country to study journalism, because one, you could end up dead if you're really good and you're doing investigative journalism was what I was really interested in. So God forbid my enemy could end up dead. And then the pay, from what I heard, wasn't like really good. Many journalists in Nigeria are being owed a lot of money. I had a colleague who moved into the PR agency that I was working, and he complained about the same thing. They were owing him about 6 months salary. I'm like, how do you people even do this? Like, don't you guys know that these people have families? You understand what I mean? So at that point I was like, nope, journalism, nope. So I couldn't do anything about the group they gave me. So, but what I did do, what I had control over, was my elective. So I made sure to select I just did the compulsory print, and I didn't take any elective for print, and then I did all my elective in PR and advertising, and that was how I was able to build that knowledge. I figured that just doing elective and auditing some classes wasn't quite enough, so I had to join the association. There was a PRAD association, Public Relation and Advertising Association, in school. So I joined there, and occasionally they would organize like events and invite like top CEOs at ad agencies to come and speak to us. And during those events, I would network with them, and I just became really passionate about it. I really enjoyed listening to them talk about all the campaigns that they were doing and what's not. So it was at that point that I realized that, girl, like, advertising and marketing is definitely for you. That's what you're passionate about, then you should definitely go after it. So, you know, during university, you're supposed to do an internship for about 2 to 3 months or a month, I'm not sure. So all the internships that I did them at ad agencies, and I was very grateful for the very first internship I had, which was at Rosabel Lagos. Unfortunately, I don't think they are existing anymore, but that would be like the sealing place for me. That really, like, you know, at that point, after working there, I knew that was what I wanted to do. Unlike so many other places, when you're doing internship, I don't even know about here in the US. I don't know if it's the same because I haven't done an internship. But back home, when you say you're an intern, most places they would be asking you to buy coffee or go do tea for them or print copies, or I did all of that at Rosabel. But I liked that they also gave you a venue to also build yourself, personal development. So they will group us into teams and then give us a campaign or just like a brief to work on. So when I say brief, that's like the problem identification, like what they want us to work on. So that's what the brief is. And then we'll just go do our research. I remember the first one I worked on was on cowbell milk, so I had to go to the market. There was a market very close by at Ikeja on that bridge. I would go there, do my research, carry paper. It was really exciting, and it just made me, like, you know, when you're like, so when you love something, right, nobody's gonna force you to do it. You're even going to overdo it at times, you know. So that was the case for me. So I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed consumer research, and at that point I knew that was what I wanted to do. So going back to school, I took on even more advertising and PR courses, and of course eventually I was made the president of the Public Relation and Advertising Association in my school, and that also gave me a lot of leverage because I was now networking and communicating with all the CEOs, most of the CEOs at ad agencies in Nigeria. And I liked that because it gave me an opportunity to be in their face, for them to be able to, you know that this is Marianne, you know. So I really enjoyed that. I went back to school, as I said, and I finally graduated, and at that point I knew it was advertising or nothing. So, but you know how looking for a job in Nigeria is, it's very stressful, and I was very grateful that the networks that I built when I was the president of that club also helped me get my first job from Franklin. So I remember I kept tabs, I kept communicating with Franklin. Franklin is like a brand strategy genius. Like, he is really good at brand strategy. I just love the way he thought about brand strategy, brand communication. It was just really exciting hearing him talk about about his experience and some of the projects he has worked on in the past, and that really got me thinking. So I kept communicating with him, how Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. Like, I always made sure that at least every week I would send some form of message. So, and it helped because he remembered my face, and when I was looking for a job, he was the person that referred me for my very first job. Unfortunately, it was in a PR agency which I didn't want to work at. I wanted advertising, but when you have an option, you just have to go and do it, because that would mean me waiting another like 1 year or something before I got the job. So while I was working there, I was also pulling some strings and working at my dream ad agency, which was Leo Burnett. Eventually, as God would have it, I eventually got an offer at Leo Burnett. Again, this was thanks to the network I'd already built from Franklin. He introduced me to the business director in the company and the brand strategies. Like, I would occasionally just stop by Leo Burnett and I became friends. Like, it was almost as if I was working there even though I wasn't working there yet. So because I knew almost everybody working there, just built connection. So when an opening finally came up, one of them informed me and I quickly applied. The process took about 1 year for it to pull through. It was a very long process, and in between they changed the CEO, so it was I had to start everything all up afresh. But eventually when I got it, I was so happy because that was my dream agency. I loved all their jobs. And one thing I forgot to mention, I was so passionate about marketing and everything that I had a folder for all my top ads. So I'll be walking on the street and I'll see something on the billboard. I'll be, oh, this is really nice. I'll take a screenshot, save it, upload it to my laptop. I had the full folder for Cannes winning ads. Like, it was that bad but good. So I eventually started working at Leo Burnett. It was so exciting. I worked on huge brands that I would never have thought about. I worked on Amstel Malta, Lipton Iced Tea, Bonvita, just to name a few. It was really exciting working on those campaigns. One of the prominent ones that I worked on was the Amstel Malta We Got Balls campaign, which was super exciting. I worked with my brand manager Ofre on that campaign. So it was really nice. I met celebrities. I was really excited about it, and I'm happy that it was a huge success. There were like bumps here and there, but that's expected because nothing is ever perfect. But of course, it just gave me that knowledge that next time when I'm doing something like this, I know what to look out for and what to always avoid to ensure that at the end, mistakes are minimized and the success is maximized. So that was long story, short story. But yeah, I was really excited about the opportunity. I was very happy about it. Eventually, I had to leave and relocate to the US to be with my husband. He's a very big tech person, so I was kind of like looking for jobs when I came, and you can't walk immediately you come in unless you have your EAD prior to come in. For you to legally be able to work in the US, you need what is called employment authorization. So I didn't have that when I came in initially because of the my visa route, but eventually they sent it about 8-9 months later. At that point I started looking for job, and none of them were like forthcoming, and I don't blame them because one, I was new. I don't have any US education experience in my resume. I didn't have any US company experience in my resume as well, even though the companies I worked on back home were global brands. In fact, I think it was the companies that I worked on that were global that actually even helped me with those interviews, because normally they won't even give you face, you won't get an interview. But I was getting interviews and they were mostly interested in my experience at Leo Burnett and the companies that I worked on, like Lipton Iced Tea, Amstel Malta. Those are global companies, so that was what was getting me interviews. But unfortunately, it wasn't like seeing through, because when they compare me with somebody who has experience here in the US, it's they will go with that person because the person has worked on brands that are located in the US, because the consumer behavior and consumer insight for Americans is quite different from those of Nigerians. While Nigerians are, there are some insights that are very unique to Nigerians, and of course the messaging you use for Nigerians definitely be different from the ones you use for an American person, because of course they don't know or they don't understand our slang. For example, when I was working on Lipton Iced Tea, our campaign was Chop Better Life with sunshine in a bottle. Chop Better Life with sunshine in a bottle bottom. When you say that to somebody here in the US, they're like, what the hell does chop better life mean? So they don't understand it. So that's what I meant, and I guess that's where they were coming from, and that's why I didn't get most of the jobs that I applied for. So I was really particular about wanting to work in an ad agency because that has been my experience so far, and it's really exciting. I remember back home that, you know, it's very fast paced. I'm not gonna lie, it's very stressful. You need to have a can-do spirit and never give up spirit. If not, you're just gonna be stressed and frustrated. I remember there are times that I would have to work late. During holidays, I would be having like client meetings. I didn't mind doing all of that because I was really passionate about it. I'll stay behind in school, I said school, at the office, just to make sure that things are getting it was really exciting. It was an exciting experience for me as well. So I enjoyed doing all of that. You didn't need to ask me twice. I would happily do those. But you know, that didn't translate very well when I was like looking for jobs here. So when I was discussing with my husband, I was like, you know, back home, even though the pay wasn't like, when you compare it to what an account manager or a product marketing specialist is earning here, it's quite different because of course the dollar naira difference. So I was very particular about advertising. He was like, no, I mean, even though advertising is good, but that's not really the future. You'd have to start all over again. Even though you've gotten to like a mid-level back home, you'd have to start with an entry level here, which, you know, is going to be stressful. The pay won't be good as well. So he was like, you know, tech, and I was like, I don't want tech. I don't understand tech. And I thought you had to, you know, and that's one thing a lot of people also think, that for you to do tech, you need to have some form of technical knowledge. You need to know how to code, do all of that. But it turns out that you don't need to know how to code for certain tech roles. So at that point when he was hammering tech, I was like, oh my goodness, I would now have to learn how to code. I started looking at some options, you know, places to get like free coding. As I said, I don't give up. I always like to explore my options, but I found out that, you know, they weren't gonna have another one till like next year because of COVID. So I was like, okay, that's out of the option. So at that point, there's a role called Scrum Master. It's Scrum is like an agile methodology, just an aspect. It's like a form of project management, but I don't want to call it project management because it's an entirely different scope itself. So it was a reigning position. I know I had a friend turned enemy that was a Scrum Master, and according to what she said, you know, she was earning reasonably good money as well. So I was like, okay, since I'm starting afresh, I might as well just start as a Scrum Master. But one thing about me is when I'm like, I want something, I want it. Like, even though I try like other stuff, the only reason I tried to do that was because, you know, I just wanted to weigh my options. And of course, I also at the back of my mind, you know, Scrum was also going to look good on my resume because I was eventually going to move into tech. But at that point, I didn't know that. So, you know, my husband advised me to take like some courses on Coursera, which I did. I did the project management, did the analytics, did the user design, and then I did the project management. So 4 of them in addition to the Scrum certificates that I already had. And I did all of that. And at that point, I was like, okay, this is not bad. This is basically what I've been doing all my career years, but it's just a different name. Do you understand what I'm saying? So Scrum is like project management, but it's a little bit different because the modalities are totally different, but it's sort of like a project management in quotes, you know, way, but for mostly like product managers and whatnot. So we sat down, I was frustrated, and he was advising me again that, you know, tech, and we're kind of like brainstorming and thinking about it, that I am passionate about marketing. I love marketing. How can I merge marketing with tech like technology? And at that point, like several years back, even back home, nobody knows what a product marketer was. So I was also new to it, so I didn't know what a product marketer meant, but I knew there was marketing there, and it's definitely something I wanted. Well, eventually it turns out that product marketing is a term that is mostly used in the B2B marketing space, especially in the tech industry. So when I discovered that, I was like, yes, this is a perfect job description for me. So I started hunting for jobs again, and eventually got 2 jobs where I was doing that. And it was really exciting because, one, I don't really like writing. I'm not a content creator. I'm not a content writer. So I knew I don't want to do like hardcore content creating marketing aspect, but I just wanted something that would lead. So I knew that I loved consumer insights. I knew I loved research, and I knew I loved like translating the research, consumer research, into consumer data. So that was one thing that like really stood out to me. So as a product marketer, I get to do that. I get to do my research, I get to do my consumer research, and I get to find my, like, convert it to consumer data that I can then use to create a product fit for the consumer, or make sure that the products that the product managers or product development team they are creating is a perfect fit for my consumers, or the company's consumers. So at that point I was like, yes, I found my passion. There's no going back. I was really excited about that discovery, and that was exactly what I was doing. So as a product marketer, there was one meeting I was at somewhere sometime, and the person was saying that a product marketer was a content creator. That person was totally wrong. A product marketer is not a content creator. Some product marketers like myself might have the writing skill, but that's not a major role. A major role is to develop go-to-market strategies, conduct consumer research as needed to discover, like, make sure that the product that they're creating it's a product fit. It's like a fit for the consumers. So at that point I knew, okay, that was what I wanted to do. I was really excited about it, and I did the job. I loved it. I was working. So a product marketer is at the center of the marketing and product development. So product development would have a product manager, and would also have like a development team which is made up of engineers, and then marketers would have like the content creator, the social media manager, the PR person as needed depending on how large the company is, and then you are as the product marketer, you are the center, you're in between them. So typically we would have our meetings together like once in a while. On a weekly basis we'll have a meeting where the marketing and product team would meet, and then we'll talk about the features that are upcoming, what we've done so far, what we need to put as a priority for the coming week. So it was really exciting. I loved it. And so at that point I said, like, I had to like just revamp my whole profile to make sure that it was passing across that message, that even though I've been doing like B2C, that business to consumers, that consumer package goods, for 7 years, I'm still capable, because those skills are transferable. It's literally, what I've been doing all these years was B2C, and now I am doing B2B. So it's the same marketing. You're marketing to a different person, if you understand. So as a B2C marketer, I'll be marketing to you, but as a B2B marketer, I'll be marketing to your business, or to a business who would then market to you, if you understand what I mean. So that was basically the major difference, and I absolutely loved it. So I started applying to roles. As I mentioned, I got those 2 jobs. I did those for a little bit, and then I finally got admitted to do my MBA. Again, I'm really grateful for my husband, because he was one advising me that, girl, for you to really succeed here in the US, you need 2 things. You need the US work experience, and you also need US education experience as well. So far I now have the US work experience. I'm currently working on my US education aspect, and then hopefully once I'm done, I'm going to get a role, secure a role in like a tech company where I'm going to continue in the path of a product marketing manager, which I absolutely love. So I'm looking forward to it. I already have my internship for next year as a product marketing manager, so I'm really excited about it. I'm hoping everything goes well, and it's just the start to a wonderful journey. So if you're asking me if you should consider doing marketing, well, you should find out what you really enjoy doing. Do you enjoy, like, that marketing is very broad. It's like it encompasses like a lot of things. You could, and from just marketing, there are like maybe like 10 roles you could do. You become a content creator, a content writer, a social media manager, a brand strategist, a communication strategist. There's so many things you can possibly do with marketing, and that's why I really enjoyed marketing as a course during my undergraduate level, because it's just very open to everything. Unlike accounting, which is like very limited to maybe like 5 roles where you can become like a chartered accountant or some other thing. Don't quote me on that, but I think there's some courses or some degree that are very limited in terms of what kind of roles you can play. But marketing is very broad. It has like so many wonderful aspects that it's very hard for you not to find something that you really enjoy doing in marketing. And of course, think about it, discover what you like and don't like, and hopefully you find the right path for you. Because I'm not going to say because I love marketing then you should definitely love marketing. Find out what you really enjoy doing, and then think about it. Think about like list out the things. As I mentioned, I really enjoyed consumer research. I enjoyed like going to the market and asking people what they thought about our products. I really enjoyed that aspect, and I also enjoyed the whole aspect of building, developing a campaign. And throughout my career, it hasn't just been study. I've also built meaningful network. I have people that I look up to in terms of loving how they think, and I did that at Leo Burnett. There were like 2 people that were really excellent at brand strategy. I tried to meet them once in a while whenever they were free to teach me the way, and I want to think that I actually picked up some things. And of course, with my MBA, I think it's just perfect because the experiences and what I've learned at, taking the marketing course this semester was just beautiful. And as I was taking the course, one thing I did was, even though I've had this like extensive experience in markets, I packed everything and I put them in the back burner because I genuinely wanted to learn something new. I wanted to relearn marketing, and it was a wonderful experience. Seth Werner, who was my marketing professor this semester, was so good. I loved and looked forward to all of his classes because it was very practical. He would come to class with, like, every class had a class activity that was very fun. He would bring the shelf with peanuts and they showed you like, pricing. It was just a wonderful class. So I definitely recommend, aside from networking and studying hard, try to also take on certifications that are relevant. Like I said, maybe I haven't mentioned it, but I do plan on taking my Product Marketing Alliance certification next year by God's grace. And I also hope to become an AMA member. Nothing is stopping me. I just think I've just been too lazy. So hopefully when I'm just about to conclude my MBA, I would have sorted out those 2, completed my examination for the certification, and also completed my examination for the certification with AMA. And I think it's also applicable to Nigeria. If you're in Nigeria, most ad agency won't take you seriously until you have an AppCon. You're an AppCon member, because like, why wouldn't you, like, do you understand? AppCon is like the main regulatory body for advertising back home. So if you're not a member, it means that you probably don't know the regulations and those kind of stuff. So definitely keep that in mind. If I remember anything, I'm just gonna put them as title or text at the end of this video. But that's everything with my career so far. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, give me a like, subscribe so you don't miss out on fun content. And if you have any particular questions that I didn't cover throughout the course of this video, feel free to leave them in the comment section. I always respond to my comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.